Welcome to day 6 of week 2. We're still doing values of clarification, and we're going to continue with reflecting on our values. But this is the last day of this week, so if you have not finished up day 5 and day 4, or if you missed any day of the week, excuse me, if you missed any day of the week, just go ahead and go and do that first, then come back to day 6. I'm going to always tell you that on the last day of each week, because when the next week comes, you're going to have more work to do, and you want to stay focused on that week. You don't want to be doing last week in the new week. You want to get all those assignments done. You want to be completed and done with those assignments, and you don't want to continue to be like, dang, I'm behind. The good thing about this is that you are going at your own pace, and you get the opportunity to stop these recordings and go back and redo and do all those things. So don't beat yourself up if you can't keep up. This is something that's going to be a life journey. This is your life. This is your journey. So it's not going to be you're not going to be able to finish it all and be the person you're going to be today and be like, yes, I did that. No, this is a process. This is a marathon. This is not a race. This is a marathon. You're going to go slow, but understand what you're doing. Now, when we get to the end of the course and you haven't truly figured out your purpose yet, I strongly encourage you to start back over and do this course over from the very beginning. Because some people might get, let's say you might be one of those people who takes longer to process things, and you might not get it right away. It might come to you down the line, and you're like, oh my goodness, now I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh my goodness, you might be one of those type of people and be like, man, even though it's like 4 months later, but you got it. And you didn't give up and you didn't stop. So that's what you want to make sure that you are understanding. Okay, so let's continue. In today's assignment, you will be evaluating how well your current actions align with your identified values and adjusting them as necessary, which is essential for living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to do this. Number 1, review your values. Begin by reviewing your list of identified values. Remind yourself of the core principles and ideas that are most important to you and that guide your life. Number 2, reflect on your actions. Take time to reflect on your recent actions, behaviors, and decisions. Consider how your daily choices align with your values. Ask yourself questions such as, have my recent actions been consistent with my values? In what ways have I honored my values through my behaviors? Have there been significant incidents? Has there been an incident where I've acted in ways that contradict my values, such as getting into an argument with somebody and you didn't have, it's okay if you got into an argument with someone, because we're human and we make those mistakes. It ain't really a mistake. Sometimes it's just a reaction because our emotions, flare up. But one thing about your values, when you learn about your values, it's going to teach you how to pick your battles, when to get down and dirty and let the person have it and when not to. So it's okay. Just realize that you're human. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to change. No, you're a work in progress, okay? You are a work in progress. So it is okay. Number 3, Assess alignment. Evaluate the degree of alignment between your actions and your values. Identify areas where there is congruence and areas where there may be discrepancies or conflicts. Number 4, notice patterns. Notice any patterns or trends in your behavior that may indicate areas of alignment or misalignment with your values. Pay attention to recurrent situations or choices that challenge your commitment to your values. You know, I was thinking just a few minutes while I was reading that. That's why I kind of paused a little bit. I had to actually be in this situation here with the notice of the pattern. I have noticed there's some patterns that's been in my life that I have to start kind of isolating myself from it, actually address it. I have addressed it. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but I will say what I have done for that situation. I have addressed it. I addressed it with the person that I feel like that's constantly keep challenging me, and then I started evaluating how important is that person in my life that I should even have to continue this way. Then I started saying to myself, you know what? I have to make changes based on my needs as well as my inside house needs, those who live in my house, my husband, my son, and what it is that I'm going to do to make things better to where I don't allow this person to be able to constantly be a challenge for me when I'm around that person, because I do have to have that person in my life. I can't just disown the person, but I realize that there's something inside of me that is triggering me with that person, and once I got into an understanding that that's a trigger, I realized that that should not be a trigger. I need to accept that the person is not going to change. This person is not going to change. This person is going to be who they are, and I have to accept that this is just the way this person is going to be. But I don't have to let that person be that way with me. And that's what a conflict is coming in at, because I won't allow that person to be that way with me. And that person don't like it because that person is so used to being like that with me. But because I've been going through my own transformation and changing of how I deal with people and how I allow people to deal with me, that person can't grasp the understanding that they can't have their way with me anymore. And that's what I'm trying to get you to understand when I say if you got into an argument, something like that, that's okay, because you're human and you're going to go through some challenges, but you're growing when you don't fall back into the trap that you always have been falling into. That's how you know you're growing. Okay, so number 5, identify adjustments. This is what I just got you talking about. Okay, based on your assessment, identify specific actions or behaviors that may need adjustment to better align with your values. Consider areas where you could make changes to bring your actions into closer alignment with your values. That's what I had to do. That's what I do now. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, because this is my life. And just like I just said, that it's your life. You have to live your life for you. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, when lights are out for you, when you close your eyes for that final moment that you never open them again, you don't get any do-overs. You don't get to come back and do this again. So you need to take control of your life. Number 6, set intentions. Let's talk about that. Set clear intentions for how you want to adjust your actions to better align with your values. Define specific goals or objective that reflect your commitment to living in accordance with your values. Number 7, create action steps. Develop a plan of action with concrete steps for implementing the changes you identified. Break down larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks that you can work on consistently over time. For example, what I do when I wake up in the morning, I don't want to jump on social media right away. I need a break when I first wake up because I don't know what I'm going to see when I get on there. You know, I got on there one day and I saw that a classmate of mine, well, she wasn't a classmate, she was a higher class than me. She was my brother's classmate. She passed away and it had an effect on me for the rest of the day. So I don't like to do that. What I do, I like to find something inspirational to listen to. Maybe a life coach, another life coach. I listen to some of their messages on anything that's going to help propel me forward in my journey for what I have going on for myself, for my goals that I have set for myself. I drink my coffee. I like coffee, so I make me a hot cup of coffee. Me and my husband, if I'm at home, I'll make him a cup of coffee. That's how he wakes up in the morning, to my cup of coffee. And I don't really make a lot of breakfast. I used to make breakfast a lot, but since I had went on that intermittent fasting, I was missing breakfast for about 6 months almost, to where I don't really eat breakfast that much anymore. I'm not on intermittent fasting anymore, but I still don't always desire breakfast no more because I broke that habit of wanting to eat breakfast. Coffee is the only thing that I crave in the morning, and whether it's iced coffee or hot coffee, it's just the flavor of the coffee that I want. And so I do that. Then after that, I talk to my husband. If I'm at home, I'll say, what is it on the agenda for today? I like to know what he has going on for today so I can kind of schedule myself around him, knowing that I will get some things done. And he would say, I got to go and, because my husband is a personal development trainer for basketball, and he has clients where he trained. So there's college athletes that he trained as well as pro athletes. He used to train Corey Brewer, I can't even get this man's name out. But he also trained a lot of other athletes as well. He even, he tried to do some things with, what's his name, Kevin Porter, whatever, but that didn't work out too well. But the point I'm making is that he goes off and he do his thing, and then I have my moment where I do my thing, and I do my stuff when he's not around, because it makes it easy for me to stay focused and locked in versus him being there. And I like to give my husband attention, and he likes to give me attention. We have the same love language. That's what we do. We definitely have the same love language. I think there's one love language that's a little bit different, but we pretty much got the same love language. We like to have to give each other attention. Like, I give him attention, he gives me attention. That's how I show my love, and that's the same thing how he show his love, and that's what I like. I like attention as far as having him in my present, and he likes the same thing as far as having me in his present. But at the same time, we like to have our time apart. We don't always want to be up underneath each other. It just works out, okay? And I think because of my personality, I'm always busy. I always have things to do, and I don't like to let nothing be at the wayside. Like, dang, I know I need to get that done, but let me do that tomorrow. I don't like putting things off for tomorrow that I can get done for today. That's just my personality. Now, my husband, on the other end, shoot, he's a serial procrastinator. He'll put things off until 3 years later, and I'll be having to get on him about that. But that is a part of the actions that I take every day, what I'm going to do. Now, when I'm at work, when I'm working flight attendant, whatever, so I'm away from my husband, away from my son, so I still make plans. I look at my schedule and I say, you know what, I'm going to have about this much time and that much time as a layover what I'm gonna do in this time. I hear people always talking about, like other flight attendants or pilots talking about, they can't stand long sits or long overnights. They just want to keep going and keep going until they get all their flying out the way and then go home. Well, that's to each his own, because that's all they do. They just a flight attendant. They just a pilot. They don't have nothing else going on with their life but just that. Well, I'm different from that. And they be so infatuated with me when I tell them I got work to do. What kind of work you got to do? Oh, I have my business that I have to run. I have to do some things. I don't have time to sit around and just be moping about having to waste time. Y'all say you're wasting time. I say that's time well needed. I'm going to use that time to do whatever I can do in that time. I might be writing another book, then I use that time to write. Whatever it is I'm doing, I'm using every hour of the day to do something. I have to literally tell myself I need to take a break. You need to sit down, watch TV, watch a movie, or whatever. And usually I use that time to be with my husband. So I make time for the things that I want to do, but I also make actionable steps for the things that I need to do. So I want you to understand that. Number 8 is monitoring progress. Regularly monitor your progress by aligning your actions with your values. Keep track of your efforts and any obstacles or challenges you encounter along the way. And you will encounter some of those, so just keep track of that. Number 9, seek feedback. Before I go to number 9, I want to back up to number 8. Something about that keeping track that I want to share with you. So keeping track of your efforts. You want to keep track of any obstacles as well as challenges that occur along the way, because if you have some repeated challenges that keeps coming up, figure out if that is something that you can avoid by not being involved with it, like not participating in it. And I say, for instance, let's say for instance you have a challenge that every time you get ready to meditate, your phone rings. It's somebody that you talk to and been talking to for a very long time over the phone, and they're used to hearing from you and y'all talk for hours or whatever. That is a challenge. Now you're going to have to tell this person, hey, let me start calling you when I'm free, or allow me to get my meditation in and then I'll call you back. Now the only problem with that is that if you do some good meditation and if that person is not saying anything positive over that phone to you, you really going to have to go back and meditate again. So it'll probably be easier to stop having that person in your ear all the time. Let you know that. That's part of a challenge that you can have, that you can deal with along the way. So number 9, seek feedback. Seek feedback from trusted friends, family members, mentors, or a life coach on how well your actions reflect your values. Their perspective can offer valuable insights and support as you adjust. Number 10, practice self-compassion. Be kind and compassionate with yourself throughout this process. Recognize that aligning your values with your actions with your values is a journey. So I'm going to read that again. Let's start that over. Number 10, practice self-compassion. Be kind and compassionate with yourself throughout this process. Recognize that aligning your actions with your values is a journey, and it's okay to make mistakes or encounter setbacks along the way. Number 11, adjust as necessary. Be flexible and willing to adjust your approach as needed. If certain actions or behaviors don't line or don't lead to the desired alignment with your values, be open to try new strategies or making future adjustments. So be open to make changes. Number 12, celebrate progress. Celebrate your progress and successes along the way, no matter how small. Acknowledge and celebrate moments when your actions align with your values and use them as motivation to continue your authenticity, to living authentic. By regularly evaluating how well your actions align with your identity, your identified values, and adjusting them as necessary, you will cultivate greater integrity, authenticity, and fulfillment in your life. So that is week 2, and that's day 6 to conclude this week assignment. So tomorrow is day 7. Enjoy your day, relax, watch your good movies, have fun. If it's summertime for you, go get some barbecue. We love some barbecue in Texas.